You look around and wonder why the wealthy keep getting richer while you struggle for leftovers. No matter how hard you labor, you are still tied down by bills, debt, and just getting by. It feels unfair, does it not? But here is the reality most people are afraid to say: money does not care about fairness. Money follows power. And power is always seized, it is never handed out. This is why you stay broke. It is because you still believe in playing by the rules, in waiting for your turn, and in hoping someone will reward your hard work. But the rich do not wait, and they do not hope. They build wealth by controlling people, systems, and even reality to fit their goals. And if you do not understand the cold, calculated rules behind that game, you will always be a target, a servant to someone else's success. What I am about to share is not some feel-good talk. It is not another fairy tale about working harder or saving more money. This is dangerous knowledge, even hidden knowledge. It is the kind of information that will make you impossible to read, impossible to touch, and impossible to stop as you pursue wealth. If you master it, you will never be an ordinary person again. Most people think wealth is about being smart, about luck, or about having talent. But those are just tricks. If they were true, geniuses would not die poor, and hard workers would not drown in debt. Wealth is not about raw ability. It is about strategy. Cold, tactical, calculated strategy. A long time ago, a writer named Machiavelli wrote, "Men forget the death of their father more easily than the loss of their money." In other words, money matters more to people than almost anything else. Wealth is survival. It is status. It is power. And those who control it are the ones who control others. The first thing you must understand is this: money is not neutral. It is a weapon. In the hands of the weak, it disappears. In the hands of the strong, it grows. And this weapon is only given to those who can let go of childish ideas. That is where you start, by breaking your old identity. You stop thinking like a victim of your situation, and you start watching, because the truth is that most people are blind. They are predictable. They are emotional. They do not see how they are being used in the money game. But once you open your eyes, once you watch, instead of just reacting, you start to see how wealth is actually built. Look at the average man. He works hard. He saves every penny. He follows the rules. And yet his life is a cage. His hard work only makes someone else rich. Why? Because he believes in effort, not in leverage. He believes in fairness, not in control. He believes in how things look, not in who has the power. That blindness is exactly why he stays broke. And here is the first law: turn silence into a weapon. Most people try to get rich by talking, by begging, or by trying to prove themselves. They show their desperation like a bad smell, but silence creates pressure. Silence makes other people show who they really are. In deals, in talks, and in opportunities, the person who can stay quiet is the one who controls the other side. This is because humans hate silence. They rush to fill it, often giving away secrets, weaknesses, or better deals. The rich understand this. That is why they are calm in rooms where everyone else is panicking. They do not chase. They let others leak information, and then they strike. Silence turns you from the hunted into the hunter. But silence alone will not save you. Because even if you stay quiet, if your reactions are easy to guess, you can still be controlled. That is where the next rule comes in. You see, most people show their emotions right on their faces. They broadcast fear, greed, and worry like a radio signal. And predators see it instantly. That is why the wealthy move markets, workers, and even friends, because they can read reactions faster than the average man can even think. If you want to stop staying broke, you must become impossible to read, like a ghost. No one can guess your next move. When you remove your emotional signs, when you master the art of being still, you stop being a piece on someone else's board. You become the person moving the pieces. Think about it. A man who cannot be read cannot be predicted. A man who cannot be predicted cannot be controlled. That man is dangerous. That man cannot be trapped by ads, peer pressure, or trends. That man saves money when others are spending, strikes when others are waiting, and pulls back when others are rushing in. This is how empires are built. Not by following the crowd, but by standing above it, watching, waiting, and striking with perfect timing. But here is what you need to realize. Every time you follow an impulse, every time you react with fear or greed, you lose power. And every time you lose power, someone richer than you grows stronger. Because money is always moving. If it is leaving your hands, it is feeding someone else's bank account. And that leads to another law, the patience of a predator. Average people are impulsive. They chase trends, they gamble on hype, and they rush to get rich quick. And in their hurry, they become victims for those who wait. The wealthy wait. They move slowly and strategically. Like a lion waiting in the grass, they do not waste energy. They wait for the perfect moment. When fear takes over the crowd, then they strike. This patience is why they buy when others are scared, why they hold when others sell, and why they grow when others quit. Their patience is a weapon, and if you learn it, you will stop throwing away money on impulses and start grabbing the opportunities that others miss. But patience requires discipline, and discipline is exactly what keeps most people poor. They want comfort, they want things to be easy, they want the quick feeling of spending instead of the cold satisfaction of being in control. Which is why the few people who master patience, silence, and being unreadable rise to the top while the rest stay tied to their paychecks. And here is the darkest truth of all. Most people will never escape. They are too emotional, too reactive, and too blind to play this game. They will live as victims until they die. But you do not have to. Because if you take these laws seriously, if you let go of your illusions, use silence as a weapon, become impossible to read, and master the patience of a predator, you stop being ordinary. You stop being broke. You start becoming untouchable. And the deeper we go, the more you will see that wealth is not earned. It is taken. You have already seen the first cracks in the lie. Silence controls people. Being unreadable protects you. Patience turns you from a desperate gambler into a hunter. But if you stop there, you are only halfway finished. Because money is not just about protecting yourself. It is about turning other people into your resource. And here is where the true game begins. Most people think wealth is created by hard work. They imagine the rich work harder or are smarter. That is only a surface-level truth. Real wealth is built by positioning, by standing in such a way that other people's hard work flows into you without them even noticing. Think about your job. You work, you struggle, you sweat, and your paycheck is only a small part of the value you actually create. The rest flows upward silently into the hands of your boss. Why? Because they are positioned above you. They do not need to work harder. They just need you to work. This is the law of leverage. Machiavelli once noted that people are naturally changeable. It is easy to convince them of something, but hard to keep them believing it. What does that mean for money? It means people's effort, loyalty, and even their obedience is not stable. But when you control the system, when you create the spot where their work must pass through you, their instability does not matter. You keep getting richer while they stay trapped. Leverage is why one landlord gets wealthy while hundreds of tenants pay rent until they die. Leverage is why one investor grows rich while thousands of people gamble and lose. Leverage is why one company takes billions from millions of customers who keep buying even when they complain. And here is the cold part. Most people never think of leverage. They only think of earning. They sell their time, they sell their labor, and by doing that, they sell their life. That is why they stay broke. Because they trade in the only currency that does not multiply, hours. But the few who master leverage stop trading hours and start trading systems. They create positions where time, money, and energy flow toward them. They stop being workers and start being hunters who set traps. Still, even leverage can fall apart if you lack control, because the masses are fickle. They change their minds, their trends, and their loyalties, and if you do not hold them down, you lose your grip. That is why you must learn the law of narrative. Wealth does not flow to the best product. It does not flow to the hardest worker. It flows to the best story. Humans are not logical creatures. They follow belief more than they follow logic. And those who shape the story control where the money goes. That is why religions grow into empires, why brands become like cults, why politicians control millions of dollars with words alone. They have mastered the art of the story, of shaping the way the masses see reality. And here is the secret. The story does not need to be true. It only needs to be believed. Once people accept your story, they will give you their money, their loyalty, and their labor. Sometimes they even give their lives. Average people fight this idea. They believe truth and fairness run the world. But look around. Lies that are repeated loudly become reality. Appearances that are built carefully become the truth. And the man who rejects the story as trickery stays broke because he does not understand that money always follows belief, not reality. Silence, being unreadable, patience, leverage, narrative. Do you see the pattern yet? Every principle turns human weakness into your power. Every step pulls you further from the crowd and closer to the group of predators. But here is something darker you must face. Wealth demands sacrifice, not of blood, but of comfort. Because the path of the predator is lonely. You cannot give in to every impulse, every distraction, or every craving. That is what keeps others weak. Their need for constant comfort. The rich are not soft. They might look like they are living easy, but beneath the surface, they are disciplined. They control themselves before they control others. Machiavelli warned that a leader must sometimes act against kindness, faith, and even humanity to keep his power. And if you want to rise above poverty, you must learn the same thing: how to give up the illusion of morality for the reality of control. This is why you stay broke. You cling to comfort, to fairness, and to how things look. But the rich do not. They embrace discomfort when it helps them. They bend morality when it benefits them. They create appearances when it protects them. That flexibility is why they rise while others sink. But remember, every principle has a shadow. Silence can turn into being alone. Being unreadable can become paranoia. Patience can rot into doing nothing. Leverage can collapse without discipline. A story can backfire if it is exposed. This is why the wealthy appear calm, because they have learned to walk on the edge of a razor. They balance being ruthless with staying in control, always staying one step ahead of a crash. And while you sit here thinking wealth is about working harder, they are moving without being seen. They are pulling strings. They are setting traps you do not even notice. By the time you react, it is already too late, but not for you. Not if you continue on this path, because you are already peeling away the lies. You are already becoming harder, colder, and more strategic. And once you embrace the predator's mindset fully, you will realize money does not flow to those who deserve it. It flows to those who take it. And the taking is never loud and never obvious. It is quiet. It is calculated. It is like a ghost. That is where you are heading toward the final change. By now, you are starting to feel it. The shift. The world does not look the same anymore. You see people talking, begging, buying, and reacting, and all you notice is weakness. They do not even realize they are being drained, harvested, and played. You do. You have stepped outside the crowd. But to truly cross over, you must understand more than just silence, being unreadable, patience, leverage, and narrative. These are just the foundations. The real change comes when you sharpen them into weapons and use them ruthlessly, because wealth is a war. It is not a fair game. It is not a moral contest. It is a war, and in war, hesitating means death. Let us go deeper. There is a reason the poor cling to jobs while the rich build empires. It is not just leverage, it is the law of substitution. The weak always use labor to try and get power. They think, if I just work harder, I will earn more. But hard work alone is a fool's currency. The wealthy substitute differently. They exchange ideas for labor, influence for action, and perception for reality. Consider this. One man digs a hole for a day. He earns a wage. Another man organizes 10 men to dig 10 holes. He earns 10 times as much and never touches a shovel. Who is smarter? The one who sweats or the one who substitutes? Machiavelli warned rulers never to rely on their own strength alone, but to use the strength of others whenever possible. Wealth follows that same rule. If you are always trading your own time for money, you will always stay broke. But if you substitute perception for value, ideas for labor, and the energy of others for your gain, money will flow to you forever. This is the uncomfortable truth. The rich do not work harder. They make others work harder for them. But substitution is not enough without another weapon: the law of illusion. People do not buy what a thing actually is. They buy what they believe it is. This is why a diamond, which is basically just a rock, costs a fortune. Why brands turn normal fabric into luxury goods. Why paper money, which is worthless on its own, holds the power of nations. Money follows illusion, and the masters of illusion are the ones who grow wealthy. They do not sell reality. They sell the story wrapped around it. That is why some men sell courses on how to get rich without ever being rich themselves. And they still make a profit. That is why entire industries thrive on creating desire for things no one truly needs. Illusion creates demand, and demand creates wealth. If you reject illusion because you think it is dishonest, you have already lost, because the world does not reward honesty. It rewards mastery of appearances. Even Machiavelli himself said, "Everyone sees what you appear to be. Few experience what you really are." Appearances are power. Illusions are currency. And the man who commands them commands wealth. Now listen carefully, because here is one of the most dangerous principles: the law of exploitation. Most people hate this word. They imagine cruelty, unfairness, and evil. But exploitation in its pure form simply means finding unused value and taking it. The rich see gaps, weaknesses, and opportunities, and they exploit them before anyone else. This does not always mean exploiting people directly. It means exploiting timing, exploiting fear, and exploiting mistakes. It means seeing where others waste things and turning that waste into your gain. Take fear, for example. When markets crash, the average person panics and sells everything at a loss. The predator exploits this fear and buys cheap, growing wealth while others lose it. Take attention. Billions of people waste hours scrolling on devices. The predator exploits this by catching their attention with stories, selling products, and turning that distraction into income. Exploitation is not cruelty. It is realism. If you do not exploit, someone else will exploit you. That is why you stay broke. Not because others are evil, but because you lack the coldness to see opportunities in the weakness of others. And yet even exploitation is dangerous without control, which brings us to the law of withholding. The weak believe that giving everything earns trust. They share too much. They reveal their plans. They show their emotions. And in doing so, they give away their power. The wealthy withhold. They reveal nothing until it helps them. They master the art of only showing a little bit, giving just enough to create interest, desire, or a need for them, but never enough to be predictable. Think of a negotiation. The average man blabs out his price, his limits, and his needs. The predator stays quiet. He waits. He listens, he calculates. By the time he speaks, the other side is already trapped. Withholding creates a mystery. Mystery creates power. Power creates wealth. This is why the richest men often seem silent, mysterious, and distant. They are not hiding because they are weak. They are hiding because being seen makes you vulnerable. Now let us pull all the strings together. Silence controls people. Being unreadable protects you. Patience turns desperation into perfect timing. Leverage makes others your resource. Narrative shapes what people believe. Substitution frees you from being a slave to labor. Illusion creates value from nothing. Exploitation turns waste into wealth. Withholding protects your position. These are not just tips. They are weapons. Dark, cold, precise weapons made through centuries of power. And when you use them, you stop being a victim of the money game. You become the game itself. But here is the final shift. Identity. Most people live and die as prey. Emotional, predictable, tied to hours, salaries, and dreams of fairness. But once you begin walking this path, you stop being like them. You become an observer, a strategist, a ghost in the market. Picture it. While others walk blindly, you walk with vision that sees through everything. You see their signs, their impulses, and their weaknesses, and instead of joining their mess, you watch. You wait. You move only when the result is already decided. This is what it means to be impossible to read, impossible to touch, and impossible to stop.